Intel Alder Lake Silicon variants detailed, reunification of the product lines. The 12th Gen Core Alder Lake microarchitecture will see Intel unify its desktop and mobile processor IP, back to the way things were up to the 9th Gen. With its post-14 nanometer silicon fabrication nodes in their infancy, Intel had diverged the client processor IP across its 10th and 11th Gen Core. With 10th Gen, the company introduced Ice Lake for ultra-portable platforms, 28W and below, while retaining 14 nanometers Comet Lake for mainstream notebooks, 28W to 45W, while keeping desktop exclusively with 14 nanometers Comet Lake. For 11th Gen, the story is mostly similar. Cutting-edge 10 nanometers Tiger Lake now covers all mobile categories, while desktop receives an IPC upgrade, thanks to the 14 nanometers Rocket Lake. The 12th Gen will see a common microarchitecture, Alder Lake, span across all client segments, from 7W Ultra Mobile, to 125W Enthusiast Desktop. This, however, doesn't mean that Intel has a one-size-fits-all silicon that it can carve SKUs out of. The company has developed as many as 3 physical dies based on Alder Lake, which vary in CPU core counts, the size of the IPU, and other on-die components. Alder Lake is a hybrid processor with a combination of larger Golden Cove P cores, and smaller Grace Monte cores. The P cores are spatially large, and along with their L3 cache slices, take up a large share of the compute portion of the silicon. The E cores come in clusters of 4 cores each. The desktop segment, headed by the new GA 1700 socket, receives the largest die. Physically, it has 8 P cores, and 8 E cores across 2 clusters. The chip also features the smallest IPU, with only 32 execution units. Being a desktop platform, the IPU enjoys much greater power budget and can run at higher clock speeds to try and make up for the lower EU count. A larger 16xP Gen 5 plus 4xP Gen 4 root complex, and a dual-channel DDR5 plus DDR4 memory interface, make for the rest of this die. GNA 3.0, or Gaussian Network Accelerator, a hardware component required for DL Boost to work, also makes its presence felt. A slightly smaller silicon, targeting mobile platforms in the 28W to 45W, or beyond, range, is designed for the BGA Type 3 package, which measures 50mm by 25mm by 1.3mm. This die physically has 6 P cores, 8 T cores across 2 clusters, a dual-channel DDR5 plus LPDDR5 memory interface, and a PCI Express Gen 5 root complex, albeit with fewer lanes than the Alder Lake's desktop silicon. The chip has a much larger LP-based IPU with 96 execution units, and 4 integrated Thunderbolt 4 controllers. The smallest of the 3 dies targets ultra-portable platforms in the 7W to 28W category, and comes in the tiny BGA Type 4 package measuring 28.5mm by 19mm by 1.1mm. This silicon physically only has 2 P cores, but all 8 E cores, the larger 96 EU IPU, 2 integrated Thunderbolt 4 interfaces, and only supports the PCI Gen 4 interface. Memory remains the same, with support for DDR5, LPDDR5, DDR4 and LPDDR4. Both the BGA Type 3 and BGA Type 4 packages are multi-chip modules, with the processor die and the PCH die. Those 2 components talk to each other using OPA, Omnipath Interconnect. The desktop Alder Lake S, however, is a conventional 2-chip solution, with the PCH on the motherboard, connected through DMI. All variants of Alder Lake Silicon are built on the Intel 7 process, which was formerly known as 10 nanometers Enhanced SuperFin.